Happy Miracle Monday. This is Dawn Petalino, your transformational coach. And Miracle Monday is where I remind you, I say I offer you, but I really am just reminding you of the tools, of the truths that you already know, so you can go back into this world and live as the miraculous being you are, to have a life of freedom and a life of joy and a life of happiness, which is really what we're here for. All right, so today's Miracle Monday is about when you don't have that goal. It's like, what's my next step? I found myself in this position many a times following this path, and that is, I was always that straight A kid. You tell me what to do, and man, I'm just going to knock it out. What I struggle with is when I don't have any idea, which is why relaxing has always been not a struggle, but it's always been like this issue, like, oh, what do we do now? What's the next goal, right? And what happens when we don't have a goal? Well, when we have a goal, we feel like in control. We kind of know where we're going, and that sense of control makes us feel safe because we know what's coming next. That's the key, because when we don't have a goal, now we're in this unknown space, and it's very uncomfortable because we're not comfortable with the unknown, because we come from all that thinking of fear. The unknown feels fearful. And we realize, oh my gosh, I don't have control over that. And so our ego starts to go into this fear mode. And we start to grapple with, all right, I got to think about, this is when the brain kicks in and says, I got to think about this. I got to figure this out. I got to know I got to figure out what I got to do. You know, my boyfriend and I will talk sometimes, and he'll say, well, we just have to figure out. And I'm like, well, do we have to figure it out? Or is there another way? And I would beg to differ that there is another way, as the Course in Miracles and the Course of Love tell us, that we are to receive instead of plan. And what that means is, the Course of Love says, it is the heart and mind that are willing to see in a different way. This is going to be different than the way we've been navigating. When our heart and our mind are in union, or as a Course of Love calls it, wholeheartedness, that we are going to be coming from a place of the heart. And it says that your heart is the wellspring of answers from which you can never draw an empty bucket. Now, the problem is we want the answer now. We want it now. But we have to remember that life itself is the curriculum, and that there is something in the moment that is always being taught, that is always being aware of. And it's the waiting develops the trusting. It develops the faith. And this also says in the Course of Love that at this time, that you have to know this. And this is really the crux of it. We get scared because if we don't have control over the next moment, there is a survival part of us that begins to fear for safety. And that's just the reality of it. And we see what fear does out in the world. But we're going to change that, because this is what we have to know. The kingdom, this is what the Course of Love says, you must accept that the kingdom has already been prepared and needs no preparation from you. Needs no preparation. It goes on to say, without this acceptance, the personal self will still struggle and strive and effort and suffer. So what this really is, and it goes on to say, this is the final surrender of the personal self. And that's what we're learning here. It's that stepping back, as the Course in Miracles would say, I will step back and let him lead the way. And the Course of Love says we let the personal self step back and let the elevated self inform, which is our heart, lead the way. Doesn't mean you're going to know the answer right away. So what do? Okay, here's what you do. You do this. First, you have to accept. Kingdom's already prepared. Doesn't need any preparation from me. Okay, we take a leap of faith. I'm going to accept that. Secondly, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to say, I am going to surrender that when there is an answer, that I will know the answer. Course of Love says, hope is the willingness to believe that when you ask, that you will be answered. I remember standing in this teacher's fair years ago when I first came down to South Carolina. I think I wrote about it in my book, Peace, Power, and Miracles, that I did not want to be in South Carolina. I came down because my husband at the time had been relocated. I did not want to be there at all. I stood in that line And I finally accepted, all right, this is where I am. I'm not going to control this anymore, because I was, quite frankly, driving me crazy, right? And I just said, I don't want to be here, but if this is where you would have me be, then I'm willing. Just show me what to do. Now, did I know what to do at that moment? No. But because I meant it, and that's wholeheartedness, the mind and heart are joined, I did feel this peace. I went into the teacher fair, I looked to my right, I saw this one principal, this woman, and I knew I was going to go over there. We chatted. I knew right after the interview that I could leave, because I knew that's where I was going to be. The answer comes when it comes. The faith comes first, though. You know, this happened even before. I remember going through a time period with my coaching program, or my coaching, where I was just like, God, what are we doing here? And I just kept feeling this lowering energy, and I didn't really want to do anything, and I had no inspiration, which was really difficult. As a doer, I like to be inspired and then do, but I couldn't. I just had nothing. And I thought, am I just supposed to close up shop? And I finally surrendered to that idea, like, hey, if we're just going to shut this down, that's fine. I'm willing. I felt relief, didn't know my next step. A couple months later, I had this total inspiration to write Peace, Power, and Miracles. The answer will come and you will know it. But in the meantime, suspend the belief. Know that the kingdom's been prepared. Surrender and accept. And then be kind to yourself. Just do the best you can with what's on your plate today. Well, if this is all I know, then this is all I know. And stop trying to figure it out, trusting that you're going to see in a different way. You're going to receive information instead of plan. And this is what the Course of Love says, to break the pattern of planning. And really, in my experience, this is where life gets fun. All right, happy Miracle Monday. I hope if you find yourself in that position that you have the courage to take these steps, to suspend, to trust. Hope is asking, knowing an answer is being given, and just go about your day. Just surrender to the process. Happy Miracle Monday. I want you to look for, I'm going to try and do a live session on a course I'm going to be teaching, a 4-week course called Manifesting Miracles, and it's based on the Course of Miracles, Course of Love. It's also based on the physics behind miracles, for those of you who attended that class. And the reason I want to do a live event is we can either learn this material or we can live it. And there's a difference. And if you're working it, you know the difference. And this class is designed to help you live it. So on that live event, I am going to, someone suggested, hey, why don't you find out what areas they might struggle with? And I will talk a little bit about what the course is going to involve, just the 4 weeks, 4 lessons, or 4 courses, and then get some feedback. So I hope to see you there. And I hope you have a miraculous Monday. Bye for now.